So, Adam, everybody's been talking about a market crash.
Oh yeah.
Where is that? Where are we at with that? I know you have some insight. It hasn't happened yet. So, what's going on?
And the experts kind of got this one wrong. It hasn't happened. And what we're going to do is we're going to work through some facts. That's all we can work with are the facts that how the economy's doing and in the past, how they used to measure that. And we will compare it to 2008 because that's what everybody's worried about.
Right.
Are we going to have that repeat? So, and there's lots of factors that we can already talk about. Back then, and you can speak more to this, kind of lending practices. Like they were probably not as strict as they are now, correct?
No, absolutely not. Yeah, and that was really what caused the whole market crash. Was people lending things that we call NINA or Ninja loans, which stands for no income, no job, no assets.
Y'all would give loans for that, or
And
they would not.
They
y'all,
would.
but-
They would before 2008, and then that's when market
Wow.
reform came in and the rules came in. And now, when you get licensed, your textbook is this thick, and back then it was this thick.
Wow.
So the amount of rules and regulations and things that are changing year over year that we have to go back and relearn and talk about every year it's always changing and growing because they want to make sure something like that never happens again.
Okay. I mean, and it's shown, right? We've seen a very healthy market since then. And there's lots of stats out there. If you don't believe me, check for yourself. But what I want to say to you is stop being afraid of the market. You do need to make a calculated and knowledgeable decision for you and your family. That's why you have professionals like myself and Sam here. So we can serve that purpose for you, but stop being scared and inform yourself. So where I do want to start is depreciation. They've taken polls and everyone fears that prices are going to come down. If you look at the chart, we haven't been this high since COVID. And what happened in COVID? Did prices go down in COVID? No. Yes, people, stayed inside, but prices did not decline.
No.
I wish I would have been in real estate during that
Right.
time.
Yeah,
Because that was one of
absolutely.
the hottest markets that we've seen, and it
Yeah.
continued until about a year and a half ago, started cooling off. But back then, 35% of people were saying, oh, depreciation is coming, it's coming. Well, it didn't happen. Now, because based off what everyone reads, it's about the same numbers, 35%. It's kind of getting smaller a little bit. 1 in every 4 people think that homes are going to depreciate, which means losing value. And we're just not seeing that here in this market. Like, we're not seeing it. Inventory is low, and I'll talk about that in a second. But this city is such a healthy market for real estate that it's just not, the facts aren't coming out and pointing to that. And I guess also in your world of lending, are you seeing any indication that homes are depreciating?
No, we haven't. Yeah. And I mean, this is where our worlds overlap. You know what I mean? Is, you bring the homes to me and we try to get them qualified for that home. But no, I mean, I haven't seen home prices declining, it's just not happening right now. So,
Yeah. And the fact of the matter is nobody knows, like we said, what's exactly going to happen. You could poll 10 random people and you can get 10 different answers. Guess what? They're all right and they're also all wrong. Like, it's an opinion. That's what we've learned, is that they're trying to push these headlines and these opinions for fear. I don't like that approach to create fear amongst the masses. And then you get this herd mentality that just everyone is so worried to think for themselves and actually look
that's
at it.
part of the problem too. Is, I mean, we are going to go through some facts today that support what we're talking about, but the other problem is, people, they see all this stuff that's going on, and a lot of the so-called experts are just saying over and over again, this is going to happen, this is going to happen,
Yep.
this is going to happen. They don't know who to listen to, right? And so, yeah, like you said, I mean, it's basically an opinion, and nobody really knows. Beyond the facts
Right.
that we're going to talk about, nobody really knows what's going to happen. Even I, a mortgage loan officer, I don't control the market. You don't control the real estate market. We're just living in it. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And so
We were
that's kind of
we were
we're
playing
playing
the
the game.
game.
Yeah. So,
And all we do know right now is where the interest rates are falling.
mm-hmm.
Those are the facts we're working with. And is a 7% interest rate keeping you from buying or selling? The answer is no. It's not. What's keeping you from buying or selling or making a decision is based off the reason why you want to make that move. It's making you think a lot deeper and really weigh pros and cons to why do we need to make a move? Are we comfortable where we're at? You know, but if you watch people's reasons and purposes grow, all of a sudden that interest rate becomes, well, let's figure out a way to work with it.
yes,
We
yes.
still see transactions and volume in the nation. We're going to hit an all-time high of real estate. Like, it hasn't slowed it down. People are still needing to relocate, still wanting to improve size because of families, or they're just figuring ways out to get it done. Next, how people are measuring our price is going to depreciate are a flood of listings. Well, if you're paying attention to the market and you see all the realtors post the MLS little graphic that shows inventory, you would know that for a while we've been with some low inventory. We're hanging around the 1.6 to 2 months worth of inventory. Basically, what that means is that if nothing more were to be listed, if just sellers said, you know what, not listing anymore, at the pace we're at, in 2 months we'd be out of listings. Okay, so that is the complete opposite of what they are putting fear in, to where a flood of listings is coming, and that would drive prices down.
Yes.
Right? Because like we spoke about, if you have all these listings, well, and then the other factor is we don't know interest rate, right? So
Right. Yeah.
if
So,
interest rates were to come down,
if,
what would
if,
happen?
if rates come down now, everybody's going to be demanding a lot more for their home. And so your interest rate's going to come down, but your home price is going to rise, and you're going to get priced out anyway. Even if you were able to afford the payment on that house that you were looking at 6 months ago, well, when the rates come down and everybody's thinking, oh, let's go buy, let's go buy, let's go buy. Well, then, there's a lot more demand in the market, supply, demand, prices go up.
Right. Yes. And it also, if you watch the trends, if you look at the year, typically January, February kicks things off. By the time you get to March, April, May, June, homes always sell at a higher rate or a higher price. Then they start to fizzle down towards the end of the year. That's just the trends. That doesn't mean it's depreciating. It just means the timing of the market that you're in. The best way it was explained to me is, it's like when you're in a car and you're going uphill, you're driving 60 miles an hour, you hit the hill. Well, your speed may drop a bit to 50, but you're still going up the hill.
Right. Yeah.
Right. It was a great way to explain that, how the market goes throughout the year. So yeah, sellers, if they time it right and they sell their home in the beginning of the year, they probably will get a little more money for it. Doesn't mean you can't get, a good amount of equity and profit from your home if you sell later in the year. Next, what everybody compares it to, like we saw, 2008, the great financial crisis, so to speak. So the next facts that we're going to hit on are going to be around that. So yeah, unemployment rate. That's another indication of how the economy's doing, right? We're all like, oh my gosh, unemployment's so high. But when you look at the actual numbers, we're doing pretty good. Back in the GFC era, we were at 7.2%. The 75-year average that you can also measure us by, it was 5.7%, and today we're sitting at 3.9%. So again, no indication there that there's going to be major issues as far as how the economy's doing. Again, we're not talking about inflation. That's a different thing. Next, forbearance. You can kind of speak to this. give us a little definition of what forbearance is.
So yeah, forbearance is an agreement between a borrower and a lender to basically take a pause on your mortgage payments for financial reasons. And like Adam is about to speak to, forbearance numbers, or the percentage of forbearance, is a good indicator of, how the market is doing.
So with that, in 2020, and what year was that? COVID.
Oh, sorry. I didn't know where you were going with that.
You're like, what? Who won the World Series? Who
Sorry,
won
I'm just so used to
2020, it was 8.4%. Okay. 2020, 8.4%. Today, June, or not today, but June 2023, 0.4%. So that means people aren't needing this financial assistance that everyone thinks everyone's just struggling to where
Right.
they have to ask for that. So another key indicator. Next, foreclosures. This one, they really faked everyone out with. They said foreclosures are up 187%. Everyone hears that. If you were to just read that, right, and walk away from that headline, you would think, oh
shocking.
my gosh,
Yeah.
as a realtor, I'm going to focus on foreclosures, help these people like this and that. Well, the numbers aren't there to actually, they're wrong. It is up 187 or 186%, but the reason is because COVID happened, and in the year of COVID, it was where am I? 165,000. But then 2021, it wasn't allowed.
right.
Okay, and now in 2023, 186,000. So we're just slightly above where even COVID was. Now, if you want to talk about how bad it was in 2008, that was 1.3 million. Okay.
Yeah.
We're not even scratching that surface. So it's, yes, is it up 186%? Absolutely. From a year that it wasn't allowed, that's going,
Where there were none.
Yeah, that's going to be a big jump. So another key indicator that it's not going to crash. Delinquencies. So these are the percentage of people that are 3 months or more past due on their mortgages. And we're just looking at this year alone. In January, it's 1.1%. In June, it's down to 0.5%. So people are able to pay their mortgages. Again, no indication of a crash. And then lastly, home with negative equity. This one is in GFC, the Great Financial Crisis. There were 16 plus million homes with negative equity. In today's time, 2023, 344,000. Okay, so again, no big indication of that scary, scary market crash that everybody is just up in arms about.
And if you aren't quite able to wrap your head around what we're talking about here as far as now versus the Great Financial Crisis, I think that a good film to check out, which I'm not sure if you've seen, is The Big Short. Yeah.
Yeah.
Great movie. And it really lays it out for you as far as what was going on in 2008 to cause all of these things to happen. None of that is happening today. I mean, it's really not where it was on the scale that it was in 2008 as far as, I mean, lending to people with no money. You know
Right,
what I
yeah.
mean? Just for these loan officers to get a paycheck. I mean, that's what was happening. And it was wrong, and it caused all of these problems, all of these people, all these foreclosures, delinquencies, not being able to afford the house that they got into because they didn't have a job when they bought the house, you know? So, I mean, that's the problem.
Absolutely. So there's the facts, man. Like, those are the facts, and you can't argue with that. If you don't believe us, look them up. Like, study them. Do your own research. Like I said, be knowledgeable, be calculated, and reach out to us for that help. We can help guide you on the process. It's time for you to just start to just limit that fear. You know, fear just causes paralysis, and the economy is not saying that we need to be fearful right now. So I really like where, you know, we're at compared to what they were saying where we were going to be. So
Yes.
I feel good about it.